Hello, everyone. Oh, my goodness. See if I can get my headphones up here. Check. Hello, everyone. Now I have the correct Good Morning Junkies. I see what you did there, Songfire. I see it. Hello, everyone. We're a little bit behind getting started here, which I can't quite explain because it took tons of prep time. I think things just kind of got away from me. So hang on one sec. A is coming here shortly, and might have a slight error with her headphones as well. We're having some technical issues here at the Lair of Doom. But what I'm going to do now is, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to go live, and you're only going to see my very, very pretty face, and we'll figure it out as we go. You coming in, babe? I am. Great. Hold on, guys. You get to see her pretty face as well. It looks like Squeaky's pretty face. Here you go, baby. Oh, no worries. Okay. We'll just have to wing the camera position whenever you're ready. I'm ready. Your headphones might be a little goofy. I checked them out earlier. Let me know after the show if there's a problem with them.
You mean since Story Smack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very weird. And all right, 3, 2, 1, and hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to Hump Day. We're going to hump the hell out of this day. It's going to be humptastic and any other humpy phrase I can come up with. Generally, you will probably see Squeaky at some point. David Lamb, do you have sound, my friend?
Do I have, can you unmute me maybe?
Oh, that's part of the problem. Nope, there you go. All right, how's that, babe? Try that.
I like this a lot better, thank you.
You guys, we got one comment in the group that we can't be heard. Can you hear us? Please say in the chat room whether you can or can't hear us. All right, here we go. Mike Nastasi, I'm a little late saying hi to everybody.
Don Shipley, hey Vaughn, hey Mike. I'm
Hump,
sure
yeah, okay. They can hear us. They can clearly hear us.
Shannon's there, Tracy's there.
First thing I have to share.
Sir.
Thanks, baby. First thing I have to share is you guys.
Oh my gosh, it's hot in here.
Look at my mug. Look at my awesome tiki mug that Stephen King got me. Look at this.
He's so excited about this.
So
you guys.
dope. And look at this. Look at this. Face hugger swizzle stick.
I know. I didn't know what to do with the blackberries on there, so I did that.
That's a good drink, babe. That's a very good drink.
Well, it's good because I remembered that you were desperate to use the tiki mug.
Yep.
Halfway through mixing the drink, so I was like, "Oh, it's apparently tiki. Let me get the pineapple."
All right, let's check your camera, sweetie. How are we looking over here?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty
Hello,
good. Pretty
guys.
good.
Oh, is that on? No, but that's okay.
That's okay. Let me see if I can tilt that down a little bit.
Holy shit, it's hot in here.
Want me to open a window?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Wow, you guys.
Back to the main camera. I, much like xenomorphs and predators, I like the heat. I like to go in places where it is very hot. You got it, babe? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what we got coming up in the show. It is a spectacular show. Such great, good stuff for all of you. We've got gangster updates, actually real, genuine gangster updates. It's going to be great. We've got pup dates, junkie picks. We've got questions. We have another Scott's interpretive reading of a very bad Mount Fitzroy review. We have that going for you as well. And, of course, this Sunday, episode 13 of The Gangster. I don't have a fancy screen to show you this time, but you should be listening to it. And it is Tortilla Chip Day. Show them what we brought for them.
Well, for you, actually.
We brought you guys some chips. And wait, it gets better. Baby also brought you guys some guac with a chip. Has already deflowered the guac in there. It's very nice. It's very, very nice.
I would share with you guys, but I don't think that's how this thing works, really.
Listen, we take National Day of extremely seriously here in the Sigler household. And not simply because we're starved for content ideas on this show, but because it means something.
Stephen King's in the chat room.
Hey, Stephen King. Did he get sick?
Did he? Yeah,
yep.
He must have. Yeah.
I kind of look like a xenomorph with my big bald dome. Wish I had pharyngeal jaws, though. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I mean, no, I don't.
It would be great because I could sit there and watch TV, and then it would be like this. I would be like...
Because nothing says professional podcasting as eating chips on mic.
It was a chip I grabbed with a pharyngeal jaw, for crying out loud. All right, here we go. So, oh, my God. You guys, this Saturday Story Smack, we have decided... we need to start swinging the Story Smacks back around to more modern movies. We've been dwelling in the past for quite some time. So the last long ago, far away time movie that we're going to do for a little while is a classic comedy that many of you may not know, but if you were a youths in the 90s, you might know this one. It is PCU, starring Jeremy Piven and Jon Favreau. That's Jon Favreau there. And it's an absolutely delightful comedy that tackles, I would guess, the first or second run of peak of political correctness in the early 90s. And then I don't know what the situation is in college campuses right now. I'm sure it's still an issue. But this is a lighthearted comedic approach to things going a little bit overboard. If you're a child of the 90s or the 80s, you will probably like this. Oops. I smacked the crap out of that. If you've never seen this movie, we will have Empty Set movie maven and Delta Tau Rush Rob Otto is going to be on with us on Saturday, March 3rd, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. We have such a good time doing these Story Smacks. They're a blast. Watch the movie and then join us for the Story Smacks, and we will talk all about it and give you all kinds of details on how this movie made a bunch of stars, and it was super fun. There we go.
Very cool.
Sandra Chung says she had her husband watch it, and he said it so reminded him about his time at university.
Oh, wow.
There's still a lot of this movie that holds up. A lot of ridiculous things that holds up quite well. And you know what time it is now, babe?
I do not.
It's time for Siglerbrations,
we have a
where we
Siglerbrations
celebrate
today.
the junkies.
We
Go ahead.
We do. So,
you do that. I'm going to mute and have a chip.
Okie doke. So today, our good friend Sheila D. Unwin has a birthday today. Sheila and Evo have been friends of mine for about a dozen years and friends of Scott's for about 17 years now, I think, maybe. They're fantastic people. If you are familiar with Scott from Patio Books, that is thanks to Evo Terra, who is Sheila's wife. So happy birthday, my friend Sheila, which is today. This past Monday was Julaine Morningstar Hughes' birthday, and since we only do this once a week now, I wanted to make sure that you, if you see her out there, you say happy birthday to her as well. And yesterday was our friend Marie Darrow's birthday. If you are a Colorado junkie, we were out there a couple of years ago. We had a party at a tapas place, and Marie came. And you guys who's been to Sigler Fest, you have met Marie as well. So happy birthday to you guys. We're going to go over another little bit. You guys know our good friend John Vizcarra. Big John is currently in the midst of chemo treatment, and he has done so much for the Siglerverse and so much for Empty Set Entertainment. We thought we would feature this week in Siglerism because he has created an entire On This Day in Siglerism part of the Wikipedia or the Siglerpedia. So we're going to celebrate that a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I put it in there. So it's a little bit later. We'll talk about what this week in Siglerism is, and then that's it.
A super pro nighttime talk show host and overnight drive host Scott forgot to turn on his microphone because he's busy eating chips and drinking booze out of an Alien Queen tiki mug.
Oh Lord,
it's a little acidic.
Is it
the drink?
It might be. That's fair. Do you want me to get you some sugar?
Acidic.
Oh, very nicely done. I didn't get it, and I'm giving you all the points for that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, baby, you know what we got to talk about?
I do not.
We got to talk about this week's sponsor. These are the companies that pay us the big bucks to put them up on the show, or when we actually figure this out, someday they will pay us. Right now, we pay them.
Yeah, we're giving a little bit back. This is World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen started. It's a celebrity chef, Jose Belzez, I don't know how to say it. Belzez, I don't know. In 2010, he and his wife Patricia saw a need for, especially he runs high-end restaurants all over the world, and he saw a need in a lot of those communities for basic kitchen functionality and food service and stuff like that. Okay. And so since 2010, they have been doing exactly that. And in 2020, especially, World Central Kitchen is working across the United States and other countries as well to safely distribute individually packaged fresh meals in communities that need support. For children and families to pick up and take home, for seniors who can't get out of the house. To date, in this pandemic, to date, World Central Kitchen has provided over 35 million meals to people in need in more than 400 cities across the world. Traditional safety nets in the COVID-19 pandemic have been have been rough. School meal programs, Meals on Wheels for seniors, food banks, all of those are struggling in the pandemic, just like everybody else. And of course, last week we saw a new struggle in Texas emerge in central and in much of Texas,
freezing their knits off.
Yeah. And just if you're, we live in Southern California, and if we got half this, if we got a quarter of the snow that Austin and San Antonio and Houston got last week, I'm not sure that I'm not sure what San Diego would do. Like, we can't handle a power outage, you guys. I can't even imagine. And Texas is also a warmer climate place, so they don't have, like, I grew up in New York City. We have 1 billion snowplows, or they have 1 billion snowplows. Texas, not so much. So the World Central Kitchen deploys in places like this to feed service workers, to feed healthcare workers, and to feed people who can't otherwise do what they normally do in a crisis. So if you guys have any interest in that, I actually know a couple of people. I didn't know this when I picked it, but I know 2 people who actually work for the World Central Kitchen, and they love it. So news from the inside.
This is Nate. You know what I would do? You know what I would do if it got super cold here, baby? Or super cold like that? I would follow the wise ways of the amoeba. I would drain myself of all fluid.
Oh my God, I don't want to know.
Spin an amoeba cocoon, a cyst, if you will, and I would go into hibernation like this.
Wow.
And then I would just wait for the heat to come back. Then it would
always so hot
out.
in this office, you guys.
I
had like a sheen.
Like a swan coming out of its cocoon, a swan just bursting out of its chrysalis and flying. Oh, I almost bapped you in the head, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it's very warm up here.
It's so hot in here, you guys. This looks like highlighter and a little bit of sparkle, but it's not. It's sweat. It's also February.
It's like a sauna in here. I've been working in here all day. It's very toasty. I got my slippers on. It's like a sauna. All right.
I don't even understand how you
I'm
can
sorry, baby. I'll have to correct that next time. Can't do that at all. All right. So that is through the sponsor. Now we move on to, it's a pup date. It's a pup date. Miss anything?
No, I was just going to, no, I'll do it later. It's fine. Let's do the pup dates. Yay.
Ladies and gentlemen, watching over us in the upper right-hand corner this week is none other than Devil McGeeks. This is from Devil McGeeks 3, Return of the McGeeks. Subtitle, get this goddamn harness off me before I kill someone. As you can tell, she is lit up in red light, as is her human. You look great there. You look really great.
We were actually
the one eye, sneaky.
We were actually at a show. I'm trying not to chomp into the microphone. You were performing. This was a place, I think it's still a place, called the Tin Roof.
Yes, it is.
And they have these cool red lights because behind the stage they have a cool light setup with big light bulbs. So on the patio and in the restaurant they have complimentary lighting. So we were there to see a show. She was watching her papa perform, apparently. And then it was so fun to go to the bar because we also have another pup picture for you because we show one in the upper right corner, and then of course they come as a pair, and here's the pair sunning themselves at Auntie Amy's house. No, that's our house.
That's our house. I don't know what my own house looks like, you guys.
Well, we don't have those cushions anymore.
I see, but there's few things in this world that are cuter or sweeter than a couple of pups just hanging out in the sunshine, taking a nap.
Those are good buddies.
Nelson
good
says,
buddies.
if you want to watch PCU, Amazon has it on DVD for $45.
Oh wait, is it not streaming? We did that. Look, I guess it must have gotten. We got together with Rob. We may have to pick. Okay, we may have to pick another one, you guys. Yeah, because we got together with Rob around New Year's and kind of plotted out the things that we would watch. Yep. And at the time, you could watch PCU on Netflix, so that might not be the case anymore. And if it's not, we're probably not going to make you watch a story smack that you can't listen.
Correct.
Or listen to a story smack where you can't watch it. So
correct.
Stay tuned.
Oops. Chris Grawl agrees with me that swan cocoons are a thing. He says
I'm not so sure that Chrysalis idea is solid.
Well, they're part of the avian insect family, and they combine.
It's not. None of that is a thing.
I know science.
None of that is a thing.
back to pup date. There we go. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get rid of our lovely pup. Let's
Hey,
take a look at.
dude. Nice to see you out there. I love you.
It's time for the pup show. The
Hey,
pup
Shannon.
show, where we show you your own pups. It's time for the pup show.
So
Who is this, baby?
This is, I
Cute,
just said
cutie.
hello to Shannon. This was Jen Sherwood is in the chat room too. This is Jen's pup, Jen and Shannon's pup, Samantha. And apparently this is an RIP. Samantha is no
Oh,
longer with
man.
us, but she's, oh my God, look at that cute
What
buddy.
a cutie. What a
And
cutie.
of course, you guys know Jen and Shannon from hanging out in the chat room, or you know them from Siglerfest. They are absolutely wonderful people.
True.
And it
True.
looks like that Samantha was rescued from a horribly abusive situation and got to spend the best days of her life and the last days of her life with Jen. And that's
Lovely.
Jen's hand, not too long before she passed.
All right, so moving on to the next pup.
This is also Jen,
is also
a
Jen.
gorgeous picture of Jen. And that on her shoulder, that little bunny is named Parrot. This is also an in memoriam post. Parrot, apparently they found Parrot abandoned, and the first thing
Oh,
she did was
come on.
that. And she used to
Oh,
love to hang out
geez.
up there, so they named her Parrot.
That's very cute.
Very, very sweet.
Next we have, this is a bad dog.
Oh, this is
This
a
is a
very
bad
good bad dog.
dog.
This is Link, and this photo is back from when the starter came out. And, we're desperately trying to send you the gangster, I promise. But it used to be where we would, when we shipped the rookie, it was just the two of us. With the starter, we had a little bit more help. And then we finally got into a groove with the MVP and the All-Pro.
Yeah.
But we were still shipping books. Scott and I and Allison, who's in the chat room, and a couple of other friends were shipping books here in San Diego when we got this picture from Link's owner, who was like, okay, look, this is my Vizsla puppy. This is Link.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my copy of the starter. Is there any way I can buy a new one? And, luckily enough, we can only do that if we have them. But this is a good time to mention to you guys, if you have a damaged copy, and we still have copies of the book, which is the starter, the champion,
That's it.
and I think that's
That's
it. We
it.
might have a few.
That's
I think that might be it. We can replace your copy with your number if you know for sure that it's been destroyed. We keep a record of all of that, and we were able to do that for Link's
If
Papa.
we have extra, yeah.
And Link's, so I said, we will, if we have extra. And I said to Link's owners, like, I'm absolutely happy to send you another copy, a replacement copy if you want to do
Yes.
that, as long as you send me a picture of Link
Yeah.
with the book.
You also have to send us a vial of blood and a tooth. You can pick any tooth you want.
Well, that's new in 2021, apparently.
It's a new policy. Did you miss the meeting on
I did-
Friday?
I did.
You missed.
I did.
You missed. She missed the meeting. Always got to have a tooth.
I might have been playing on solitaire on my phone.
Yeah.
And this buddy, I actually
this
don't
sweet
know her
pickle.
sweet name,
Oh
but
my gosh,
this,
what a beauty.
This.
I encourage people taking pictures of their dogs with my books. I encourage this.
Yeah, and
immensely.
you
It's
did a whole
wonderful.
campaign. This was right when we met
that's
back in the
right.
day.
That's right.
You wanted everybody to send photos of them with their new book. And so somebody did that instead. And I this is going to be a couple of, we have a whole bunch of photos, sort of throwback photos to show you guys. And unfortunately, we didn't keep great records of who these are. So if this is your pup, or you know whose pup this is, please let me know.
Yeah. Sean Dyer, clever question, says, does it have to be my tooth? And I'm like, God, you lawyering sons of bitches. I did not specify in the small print it has to be your tooth or even a human tooth. Do not mail us teeth unless you have lost a book, ladies and gentlemen.
Vaughn, we just featured a bunny named Parrot. So yes, your cat, we absolutely want to see your cat.
All right. That, ladies and gentlemen, oh shit, baby, do we have junkie pics?
We do.
Okay, you have to vamp for, well, I'll do it on the fly. I'll do it live.
We'll do it live. And these are pretty easy if you just get to them. But in the meantime, I will tell you, I missed a couple of updates earlier. They're the standard
I did
updates.
do this. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm ready to go when you are.
All
You
right.
want to do the updates first?
No, this is okay.
So, what
Oh,
is this
except
for?
I did not. That was stupid. I should have written this down. You need to vamp for a second
Oh, I need to vamp for a second.
because I forgot that you don't see.
So far today, we've covered very acidic drinks in an Alien Queen Tiki mug. We've covered the beautiful nightmare that is the swan insect chrysalis cocoon hatching. We have talked about the fact that you guys, if you want your book replaced, you have to send me a vial of blood and a tooth. Yes, ma'am.
I'm ready
Oh, there we go. This for the updates or for the junkie picks?
for the junkie picks.
All right. We got some good ones for you guys. Ready? Here we go.
So this is a meme that Junkie Adaloo sent in, or actually posted on Facebook this
Yep.
week, I think, when he finished The Gangster.
Love it.
Yeah, so this I totally love. Also, as an update for that, the Iceberg, Steve Rickerberg, is in the chat room tonight, or in the live stream chat tonight as well. And two things: we are currently working on the Stone Wolves, which is more GFL. It is a parallel story to The Gangster, which some of you guys will have just finished. We expect that to be out sometime in Q2 is my best guess. It is a novella, so it'll only be an ebook and an audiobook.
Updating the Gangster while we're doing the Junkie pictures?
What?
You're doing a Gangster up. Did you want to finish these first before we go to the Gangster update?
Well, I was just, this is, it
Oh,
says
that's
you got
related to
any-
that.
Yeah,
I got
because
it.
it says, are there any more GFL stories?
Yeah. Y'all got any of them
It's
GFL stories?
It's
Yeah.
that you're drinking the too acidic drink.
All right, next. Are we ready for the next one, baby?
We are.
Okay, here we go. Next one.
So I love this. This is one of our secret agents. This is Dr. Joe Albeets. He lives in Colorado. He's fantastic. I've known him a million years.
Cool cat, man.
And I don't know where he was when he took these pictures, but I'm going to guess St. Louis. So he took his kids to visit his parents and then sent this as a text. And if you can't read that, pointing to Joe, it says, "Read you social networking." And then the sculpture of those giant ants knows this is bad.
Knows this is
If you
bad.
don't know what that means, go find You Social Networking. I think it's in Blood is Red or Bones Are White.
Something like
somewhere
that.
in there.
Something like that. That was a tie-in with Hutchins.
Yeah, it was. And it's fantastic. And if you are, that's true. If you're a fan of J.C. Hutchins, a couple things. The Stonewolves was co-written with J.C. Hutchins, so you'll get a lot of his flavor of writing.
Yeah.
And I think that was a tie-in to the Seventh Son.
It was. It was
right?
tie-in to Seventh Son.
Yeah.
Also, I'm noticing a little bit in the chat room real quick, about how to get rid of bodies. The rule,
Oh, Lord.
the rule, gentlemen, ladies and
Lord.
gentlemen, fold, don't cut. Never cut, always fold. Moving on to the next one.
I'm not going to lie, though. I don't think that's enough info.
It's,
That's not enough for the whole thing.
It's a mantra. A mantra. It's a mantra.
A modern
A mantra. And it is sort of a guiding light in your life is fold, don't cut. What are we looking at here, baby?
This, if you have not read the Generations trilogy, this may be a little bit of a spoiler for you, but this is cosplay from San Diego Comic-Con in 2014, I think, when when Alive came out. The gentleman on the right in this, stage right, screen right in here, is the gentleman in this picture is cosplaying as Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And the lovely young woman in this photo is cosplaying as M, of course.
Yes.
And so if you haven't read the Generations trilogy, this is a tiny bit of a spoiler for you, but you should read it anyway.
And in the weird, tiny world of COVID, the person playing M is a fitness instructor. And I was walking my dogs by the park in our condo complex.
That's
And she's
right.
like, and all of a sudden, my dog Reese takes off like a shot because Reese remembers people and loves people. And this one's like, "Hey Scott," I'm like, "What is happening?" It was M. Hey, and doing some training in the park. Here we go. Next picture.
This is Scott back in the day. So you guys who are relatively new junkies will love this. You guys who are old school junkies will appreciate this. This photo was taken in Scott's very first non-closet office.
That's right. Holy cats.
When Scott and I started to work together, he was still working from home, kind of writing everything at the kitchen table or at a coffee shop and recording everything in his only closet in their one-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, so you should probably move to an office.
What book was that for?
This is the MVP. This is the final edit,
Wow.
and this is also the last paper edit that you ever did.
You talk about girth, ladies and gentlemen. There is some turgitude going on right there.
So-
that is a swollen manuscript.
It is. So if you guys are interested and you guys are aspiring writers, I will tell you back in the day, the very last edit that writer did with a publishing house was done on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't do that anymore because it's cumbersome and wasteful. Scott hated having to give it up. He still hates it.
I still like having a pile of paper. You gosh darn whippersnappers and your newfangled technology.
So this was, if you look at your face, though, look at your face, hon. You are
I'm proud of that.
exhausted here. And the reason I bring up that this was the first office that Empty Set ever had, we were still Dark Overlord Media at the time. I was still, Allison Cranaran, who was in the chat room, and I ran an event, civic event business in San Diego called Audacity Events. So I was working with Scott as a client we had an office, but this is the first Dark Overlord Media office, and you can tell because that green wall behind him,
Oh my
which
gosh.
doesn't look chroma key green,
Yep.
is actually a green screen wall that we painted. It was very harsh.
We
It
actually
was very loud.
we have a secret agent in the room who is working on a novel right now, and I would suggest strongly that whoever that person might be, once you get down to that final draft and you got to the final proof, at least once in your life, go to Kinko's, have the whole thing printed out, sit down. I would guess this person might like scotch. I don't know.
I mean, you
Sit
kinda
down with a
know.
scotch and just like you just pet it. It's like, oh, look at the girthitude. It's so swollen and lovely. And you just you can marvel in your own accomplishment, because to get something this big, it takes either a lot of work or really fortunate genetics. One of the two.
And I'm not going to lie, as you have done so much work in this office that we are currently sitting in.
Yep.
You've put up, you guys can't see it, but there's obviously you can see the soundproofing behind us, but there's also soundproofing in front of us to make your experience better when we live stream, stuff like that. We actually still do our audiobook recording in the isolation booth, which is down in the garage. But Scott does all the talkie talk.
Yep.
For the weekly episodes. He does them at his desk. And of course, we do all the live streams here. That said, this
All right.
office is very, very close to the most work you've done in an office.
Yes,
Because I think the Lair of Doom doesn't count because you lived there too.
correct.
But this one we did, this one in this photo, oh my God, we did so much work. And
Tons
it
of
was,
work. Tons.
it was
Tons and
probably
tons.
10 feet by 12 feet. Oh my God, we did so much work. in that office.
It just
Hey
an
Joshua,
enormous amount
hey
of work. Hello,
Samora,
Joshua.
hey Sherry.
All kinds of great people. All right, so now,
Hey,
baby, what we're
Richard.
supposed to go to now, we're supposed to go to, well, first we're going to do This Week in Siglerism.
Sure.
And then we are going to go to Gangster Updates. And then we're going to go to Scott does a dramatic interpretive reading of a 1-star review. Then we'll go to questions if we have any time left. I think that's what we're going to do. But first of all, for our best pal, John Viscar, let's go to This Week in... Oh, sorry. Hold on, guys. 1 second.
Oh, what's going on?
This week... Oh, it's not working. Oh,
Oh, Lord.
Nelson was trying to... Wait.
He doesn't care.
This Week in Siglerism! Oh, I had to turn it off. Okay, now we go over here. This is at siglerpedia.scottsigler.com. The place you can go for all of your Sigler-related questions. There's an enormous amount of information here. A lot of junkies have pitched in to do this information.
You want to switch the camera so we're looking at the thing?
Oh yeah, of course, baby.
Yeah.
I had to shut down the ability for anybody to get on here and edit like Wikipedia because the spam was out of control. But if you look here, it's really neat. John created this awesome thing so we can all look back on the good old times. On this day in Siglerism, February 24th, Sci-Fi Wire posted an interview with me about alien phalanx back in, is that 2020?
2020,
That's
yeah, it
alien
came out.
phalanx. That's right. Wow.
Because 1 year ago tomorrow,
Yeah.
according to
Oh,
On This Day in
geez.
Siglerism,
Oh, geez.
Alien Phalanx came out.
And in 2019, episode 36 of Earth Core, 3rd edition. God, John is so good at this. In 2016, the Empty Set Entertainment Post groups about you are about to get screwed and what to do about it. I don't remember what that was about. And then back in 2015, we were blogging all kinds of stuff. It's just fun stuff.
It's just fun stuff.
Fun
What's
stuff.
what's really important about why I brought up tomorrow's On This Day in Siglerism is tomorrow, 1 year ago tomorrow, was the official publication date for Aliens Phalanx.
Yep.
And yesterday, Aliens Phalanx was revealed as a finalist for an audio award.
Yes.
An audio award is the Audiobook Narrators Association Awards. They're essentially sort of the Grammy, Emmy version of audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's also Audible themselves, which is a business, so that's a little bit different. They give out a Narrator of the Year, hugely impressive. Our narrator, our non-GFL normal narrator, Ray Porter, has been a Narrator of the Year for Audible in 2015.
What's up?
The the narrator for Aliens Phalanx is Bronson Pinchot.
Bronson
and
Pinchot.
he's
Fantastic.
lovely, and he
Does
did a great job.
Great
and
job.
he was so communicative with Scott throughout the
It
recording
was so great.
process,
It was
which is
so great to
awesome.
work with. Like I was getting texts from him at one point, like every 15 minutes, with a question about this character. Like, how would
Yeah.
you present this? What does this mean? What is my take here? It was, oh my God, it was so much fun because we've had a narrator doing our books before that we've controlled who was horrible to work with, non-responsive. missed deadlines left and right.
Difficult,
Difficult, like you
Hey,
would say.
Trisha
He would say,
Shackney, sorry.
"Hey, I want you to do this character this way." That person just ignored it, and that person ignored an entire. I did the recording of all the character pronunciation, all the words, everything.
A recording and a phonetic guide.
And just that person just ignored it. So when you have someone like Bronson or Ray, Ray's very into it too. For that, Ray knows us so well now. He doesn't really need to ask anymore. He gets me quite a bit. But Bronson, super present, trying to make sure he got it right, and he just slayed it. It's great. If you haven't heard, even if you read Aliens Phalanx, I think you'd really enjoy the audiobook. It's great.
And I will say that one of my favorite things, we've talked about this before when Ray was on the cast, Ray Porter was on the cast. Ray and Scott and I know each other, and Ray and I spent a week at the same recording studio. When I was recording my audiobook for Casey Alexander, he was recording a different one, so we got to have lunch every day. So we know him really well. That's it. And he loves a lot of things, and I'm not going to share them because he didn't share them and he doesn't like to. But Bronson Pinchot, one night we were watching probably The Good Place, I don't know, and it's like 11:30 at night. Bronson lives on the East Coast, so it's that late, and he texts and he's like, "Listen, I know it's late. I just have to say, I love Crean. I love Crean. That's all. That's all he had to say. He just wanted Scott to know that he liked that character a lot."
In his performance, if I had done the audiobook, I would not have approached it any remotely the way he approached Crean, but his Crean was still fantastic. People talking about having Audible credits in the store. Don't forget, the GANGSTER is out now. Speaking of the GANGSTER, how about some quick GANGSTER updates, baby?
I will, but I also, Nelson, you're the best thing ever. Thank you so much. Nelson in the chat room says the new. This is so sweet. Thank you. Unless you're talking about Scott, which is also sweet, but he should say that too. So we do have a handful of GANGSTER updates. We are now live at the Nook store and the Kindle store. We are doing updates. Many of you, and I'm super grateful, I'm not at all complaining, continue to do this, sent in a couple of corrections. There were 2 copy editing marks left in the initial ebook of The GANGSTER because we were rushing. Those have been fixed since. So if you read the book digitally, of course, because that's the only way you can read it, and you noticed that there was a start here or a single word delete me, but all together in all lowercase, those are copy editing marks when you're putting together the audio, or how our audiobook or ebook designer did it. Those were obviously left in accidentally. If you just ping me at info@emptyset, I will send you an updated copy that doesn't have those marks in there. They are no longer in the copy that's at Amazon, and they're not in the copy that's at Nook. We're still working on Kobo and Google Play. And then once those are done, and we wait a little while because Amazon publishes immediately, these 4 publish immediately, then I'm going to wait a couple weeks in case anybody finds any other errors before I put it into Overdrive, which is how you rent it from libraries, or how you do the reading to the, there's some sort of app that reads to the blind, I think, or a library that reads to the blind, and that can't happen until we do Overdrive, which should be in the next week.
And then I was having a chipgasm. Did you talk about the hardcover at all? The status?
I did not. There's no change to the hardcover. Our new publisher are fantastic. We're still on track. They're still at work. They are in a part of the country that is doing well with COVID and they're managing the reopening well. We have been shut down. Of course, you know the whole story of the first publisher, but even with the second publisher back in December, they went into lockdown again, and we lost our publication, or our printer schedule, getting on the actual printer. So now we're scheduled for April for that, and we're still holding tight for that. So you guys should have this in your hot little hands sometime by the end of the summer.
Little hands. We are at 6:35 our time, so we're 35 minutes into this. Is that it for the GANGSTER updates we got?
It is.
And you gave the Stone Wolves update already?
The Stone Wolves, I did, yeah.
And make a quick hit there?
Oh, yeah. So I've had 2 emails this week about this. If you are a teacher, if you have children in your lives that are of school age or college aged, I don't know if you'd call them children, and you would like Scott to talk to a Lit 101 or an English class or something like that, we do that. The best way to do that is to have the instructor or professor or teacher who will be running that interactive Zoom or interactive Skype or whatever, email us at info@emptyset. We do them a couple times a month, and happy to do that. There's no fee for that. We also, of course, have the free book bundle, ebook bundle that is still active. It's going to be active until the pandemic is over and everybody's back to their normal lives. So it's a good way to get free content for people who are in a hybrid model and still working from home and stuff. And it's good for us because we love to meet new readers and we love to talk to new people.
Yes, it's fantastic. All right, now we're going to move into, I don't think I've missed anything. First of all, chat window. It's all about chips, baby.
Oh, chips. Oh,
it's all about getting them chips,
ready?
baby. Yep, there you go. Back to me now. At some point, what I would like to do is get some candles up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord, it'd be so hot.
Get some mood going on in here.
So much hotter than it should be.
Little Vincent Price action going on. You Utes don't know who Vincent Price is, but he was
seen
a badass.
Thriller.
He was a badass. Okay, here we go. I'm now going to read you. When you're done chewing, Miss Non-Professional. Here we go.
Chips was a bad idea, you guys.
It's time for Scott Sigler's One-Star Theater. Here we go. Stephen King, don't make fun of my acting. Here we go. Every character hateful. The author can't write characters worth investing in or caring about. They all make you want to punch them in the gut. Every period. Single period. One period. The narrator delivered the story like an abusive husband drunk on brown liquor. The time I spent listening to this book felt like willful abuse. The lines were narrated like punches in the gut. One afternoon, I started listening to the book out of boredom, picking up around 6 hours into the story. And as soon as my dog heard the narration, he went from head on my chest to leaving the room in a single sentence. I'm not joking. The spit-like narration repulsed even my dog. Will not consider buying another book by this author or narrator going forward.
Oh, Lord. So this was Fitzroy?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine what he'd be missing out? Okay, look. It's our product, so I'm not going to talk about our product.
Neil wants to get some of that brown. Can I get some of that brown liquor? Go ahead.
But can you imagine, like, writing off Ray Porter because you listen to one book?
Apparently Ray Porter's very spitty. He's very spitty, you guys.
Very spitty.
We all know this. We all know this about Ray. I got a little confused. I broke character. Sorry, all my acting coaches. I broke character because it says...
when you broke character, Stephen King texted, no promises about not...
So the guy said picking up around 6 hours into the story. Okay, now, from a writing perspective, I have no idea what this means. Does that mean you started the story in 6 hours or you listened to 6 hours before you laid on the couch with your dog? But if I could offer a rewrite... Can I offer a rewrite?
Sure. To the narration or to the review?
To the review. I'm going to now.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
On the fly, rewrite part of this review. The lines were narrated like punches in the gut. One afternoon, I started listening to the book out of boredom, picking up around 6 hours into the story. And as soon as my dog heard the narration, he farted like a thunderbolt that stank up the entire house. It was almost as stinky as the book itself. He left the room, leaving me to wallow in a miasma of poor fiction, horrible narration, and stinky dog farts. I think that would have been better.
Maybe, but
that's pretty good.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
We're just kind of having fun with this, but Ollie makes a really good point in the chat. He says, if you want to punch a character, that character affected you emotionally.
Well, this guy, to be fair, wants to punch everybody. He wants to punch me in the gut, Ray in the gut, all the characters in the gut, and he probably kicked his dog in the gut. Be a guess.
I mean,
that's a bridge too far. That was a bridge too far. I'm sorry. We've done this week in Siglers. We've done the wrap up. You know what time it is now, babe?
I do not. Uh-oh, that dog hates you, bro, not the book. That's a good point, Tracy. That dog is like, please, can I get out of here, please? Please.
Richard Allen, count me $1. I got $1 in my account for clever use of the word fart, which is not a curse. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for, first of all, we've been to the chat, so let's go to more, and then it's time for On the Fly.
Oh.
Great. Can you do her? I've already lost my
Great question.
Great
No, I
question.
can't, but because Catherine O'Hara is so fantastic, and Moira is
questions. Oh, we've got
fantastic.
questions. We've got Moira in Schitt's Creek, and you can't penalize me for saying Schitt's, because it's the name of a TV show. It won a bunch of Emmys. It's Schitt's Creek. It's Schitt's Creek, and now I've got $1 to my credit. All right, now.
2, 3, 4.
Do we have questions, my darling?
We do. If you guys have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat room. We'll start with a question that came in this week from Mike Jant.
All right.
Which is, I seem to remember talk of a short story with nocturnals being infected with triangles. Is that a thing that exists, or did I make this up? If it doesn't exist, do feel free to use the idea after you finish your 47 trillion other projects.
Yes.
Would it even work? Would it make freaky mutant triangles?
Well, it's one of those things that if I ever had enough time to do that, I would like to do that to tie it together. Because as I was trying to keep the Siglerverse cohesive and unified, the modern day era. Sorry.
Who cares about chip crunching if you're just going to burp into the thing? It is. It's an acidic.
It was
thing.
the alien. It was the alien. It was more of like, that's a great idea. And of course, if you've read the Infected trilogy, no spoilers, but in the Infected trilogy, a bad thing happens to the whole country and then the whole world. San Francisco is part of said whole world. So there was a lot of consideration given in writing the Infected trilogy on how to spare San Francisco so that if there were more nocturnal stories, I could continue to write stories in that world and still have it be cohesive and all part of the Siglerverse continuity. So no, there is no story like that right now, but it would be a humdinger. It would definitely be a humdinger to watch one of the nocturnals who are already psychopathic cannibals, depending on how you determine genus species, if that's one species or not. They're subspecies of humans, they're cannibals, and when things go horribly wrong with them, it would be bad.
Yeah. So what I think, Mike, what I think you may have heard is there is a crossover story with the nocturnals that bring them into the Siglerverse. It doesn't have to do with triangles, but if it ever gets written, it would bring the Siglerverse, which is this universe, it would bring the nocturnals into the Siglerverse as well. It hasn't been written and it doesn't have a scheduled date yet.
All right.
We have had a couple of questions about, can you scroll up a little bit for this?
Sure.
Because Sean said it best, but there's a couple of questions. So, Ollie, yes, GFL Kittens next week. A little bit more, please.
Okay.
I think it was... There it is. Shannon Bethany asked, listening to Nathan Lowell's Trader Tales from the Golden Age of the Solar Clipper, there's a ship named the Sigler. How did that come about? There was also a question on Facebook, I think from Mario, about the Solar Clipper and you. So why don't you talk a little bit about how that happened?
Nathan and I go way back. Nathan was in that first wave of not just podcast novelists. Nathan Lowell was in the first wave of podcasters, period. But in the heyday, we spoke about Evo earlier in Audiobooks. Nathan, T. Morris, Mark Jeffrey, myself, Mur Lafferty, J.C. Hutchins, and a lot of other people were putting their books out for free over at audiobooks.com. And so we got to know each other there, and we've hung out at cons, and Nathan is a great dude. And he started to write a novella called The Gangster, but we ran into problems with the novellas for the GFL where I realized that for someone to correctly write a GFL novella, if you were going to do one today, you would have to read 6 novels, probably at least half of the novellas. And then there's a bunch of stuff that I haven't told anyone. Some of it not even A knows a lot of it, but not all of it. And so then you would have to consume all this knowledge. Then you would have to go write the story. When you deliver the story, there'd be me like a goalie kick saving all over the place. Glove save, stick save, no 5-hole. And it would be all because there's stuff they wrote that won't work because of things that are coming up. So Nathan wrote a novella for The Gangster about Greedock the Splithead. And it just flat out did not work because of all the stuff that I just mentioned. There was stuff he didn't know. So when he turned in his first 3 or 4 chapters in an outline, I'm like, I think I've made a horrible mistake. This is not going to work. The fiction was totally fine. It just did not fit in the universe at all. So that's going back to Nathan, and Nathan is still kicking out books all the time. Definitely should check out Nathan Lowell and the Solar Clipper series.
So Sean, you say in the chat, you have questions about the books and interconnections that you're pretty sure you don't even want the answers to. I've gotten several emails this week similar to this.
And Seth Harwood too. Yeah, it was point out. Good.
Oh yeah, of course. And
early podcast novelist.
And those are great books. But love you, Jude. Nice to see you. But I don't want you to speak specifically about like specific interactions, but I do want to talk a little bit about about the idea of the Siglerverse. A lot of people are, I don't know why recently, but are sort of starting to see that some of the aliens that you love from one book might show up in another book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's absolutely true. We talk about it all the time. The Siglerverse is all connected. The Siglerverse is all connected. So there are some things. Hunter Hunterson and Sons, we always say, like, sort of takes place outside the Siglerverse, things like that. But the Siglerverse itself is all connected. So if you're starting to think you see connections,
You probably do.
You probably do.
You could be wrong.
And that's that's all I'm going to say, because Sean also says he actually doesn't want to know what they are.
I don't think
just,
you do.
Yeah.
I think there's a few people, I watch that stuff as often as I can. There's a few people who are getting precariously close to what the connections are. But to toot my own horn for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of authors and fandom out there that either the author purports to have everything connected, lost, or the author sits back and smiles while fans create these massive interlinked Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia maps about how it's all connected, and the other's like, none of that is connected, but it's selling books, so I'm just going to sit back and let you guys enjoy yourself. All of this stuff, all of it is connected. All the series are connected, and when GFL Book 8 drops, that's going to be... I want to put a crown on that royalty, and then that sucker is going to go into retirement, and we will. The Siglerverse will basically end largely with GFL Book 8. I think we'll see, but that's the one that brings all of it together. All of it together. Yeah.
But that's a great question, and of course we're super careful about spoilers, that kind of thing.
We try hard.
Ollie, I'm so sorry. I had started this script a little early, so I was already done. But next week, I promise.
So what I was saying was. Sorry, I get distracted. What I was saying was, enjoy your time reading now, because it's my utter commitment to all of you that I'm not going to phone it in for the last 2 books, that all of this stuff will come together, and you will, when you get to the end of GFL Book 8, you will know whether you were right, and whether you were right or wrong, you will see, oh my God, he showed us that all the way along. It was always there. And then you go back and reread everything again. It'll be great.
Would you like another question?
I would. I'd love one.
All right. Did you have one? Did you highlight one?
I did, but then it went away.
You guys probably still highlight it if you scroll back up.
Wow, people are active. You guys are active in the chat room. You're chattive.
I love Neil, yeah.
You're very chattive. You can ask that or you can ask that. What do you want, sweetheart?
Neil asks in the chat room, question, many authors use their personal experiences and or characteristics in their writing. Which of your sick and twisted characters do you most relate to?
It's a difficult question. I actually, in my own regular human personal life, I have a lot of difficulty processing when bad things are happening to family and friends. I'm just a train wreck when someone dies. It doesn't even have to be someone I know. It's just, and when it is someone I know, it's like, it's terrible. So there's not a lot of that. I know true crime is a huge genre, and people love it, and people create great stuff in there. I hate true crime because I'm like, I'm not going to be entertained by this person getting murdered and the wrong person getting blamed. That is not entertainment to me. So as far as bad things that have happened to me that go into the story, honestly, not very much. All that stuff gets played pretty close to the vest. But it is super easy to skim the news, history, pop culture, the internet, all that stuff, and get ideas for horrible things that have happened to people and then make it fictitious. To me, when it's fictitious, everybody can enjoy it as a form of escapism. And also it's holding a mirror up to society. There's a lot of truthism, like Perry Dawsey's upbringing, for example. That was the upbringing of a lot of guys I grew up with in Sheboygan. Got a little Sheboygan shirt on right now.
It's Sheboygan Brewing Company.
Sheboygan Brewing Company. There are, of course, every town has people who have horrible home lives and kids who are growing up with zero chance at all. And Sheboygan had a bunch of them, and that's where Perry Dawsey came from. A lot of these guys that were just dealt a crappy hand wound up being exceptional football players, and that's where the story comes from.
For sure. And I know this wasn't exactly your question, but I will say a handful of things which will help you sort of grok how Scott writes pieces of his life into his stories. Mr. Biznaz is a fictionalization of a real person that Scott knows exists. Ma Tweedy is
Carol.
very much Carol Sigler, who is Scott's mom, in a lot of ways. A lot of Coach Hokor and some of Quentin is very much old Coach Sigler, who is Scott's dad. You can see bits and pieces of people that he knows and him himself. You say all the time, I've said this on this cast before, that Pookie Chang is the ideation of the version of Scott where instead of 3 days later knowing the exact perfect comeback to a sassy conversation, he knows it right in the moment, and he remembers names and faces, which Scott is not good at. So there's a little bit of Scott in Pookie Chang, but otherwise there are people who I know in real life, Scott knows in real life, who show up in many, many characters. In Margaret Montoya, in Clarence Otto, in Patrick O'Doyle, in Bill, who was Perry's friend at work. There's lots and lots and lots of real people who show up, or real pieces of people who show up. A lot
of my work is informed by real people and taking little pieces here and there from the people I've known or worked with, seen, etc. Give me another question, sweetie, because voice is fried. What's going on? It's crazy time. We're going back over this monitor here.
Okay, so let me pick a good one. Oh, Robin Taylor, who I think is now in the chat room, asked, does anyone in the GFL have pets?
Hold on, I got to respond. Yeah, there's a little bit of Sigler in all of you. Yeah. Does anyone in the GFL have pets? Mm-hmm. No, I've so far managed to avoid the cute animal sidekick trope, which I love because I have many cute animal sidekicks, but no one in the GFL. There's so many characters in the GFL, and I'm also managing the species of the GFL. There's so many different species, and trying to keep all of that information, keeping you powered up on what they look like and keeping you up to date, and then delivering that info as part of the narrative is already challenging enough without having a pet. I think the League Key are probably the only ones because they've got the little symbiotes that crawl all over them and eat their boogers and various dead flesh. That's as close as we get to pets.
And I actually think you talk about this a lot. People often email about how is there no other sport but football in the GFL, and that's a functional thing. It's not that soccer doesn't exist, because the Sklornos would be great at soccer.
They dominate.
That's true.
Sklorno dominates soccer. Nobody else can even play.
If we have to talk about that, the books get even girthier. Yeah. And I appreciate that you love a girthy book, but at some point they get too big to ship.
That's one of my favorite things to talk about is the reason I chose football for the GFL, because what I originally wanted was a sport where if you didn't have the unique physical capabilities of 5 different species, you had no chance of winning. And I invented different sports trying to work this out and finally stumbled upon football. I've talked about that before. I won't go into it now. But every other sport that I'm aware of in the world would be dominated by one species in the GFL era, one of the GFL species. Everything like basketball, how you can play basketball against Sklorno? It's not going to happen. They can jump 20 feet in the air. They have to change the game for them. Right. They dominate soccer. Hockey is going to probably dominate by somebody who's really good at ice skating. There's only one sport that requires such vastly different body types, and that is football. A kicker and an offensive lineman almost look like completely different species. And if you don't have each of them, you can't win. Well,
and to clarify, because Nelson and Sherry both mentioned this, I'm talking about sports that actually exist in this world.
Yeah.
Dynolition is absolutely another sport that is in the GFL series. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it's dinosaurs. So we don't have to worry about how the rules will work out in this world because we don't have dinosaurs anymore. So that's why that is the only other sport in the GFL, is because there are no real, well, there's one other that's sort of an Easter egg, but that because there's no referring to the real rules in this universe, which then we have to manage time over time.
Ollie Curry, that's great. John has Quentin as a pet. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. I concur. I think we got time for maybe one, possibly 2 more questions.
So this is a super short one. I know the Natazis are in the chat room.
Okay.
Mike had asked earlier, are you still going to offer a star chart print with GFL 6? Absolutely. It's a poster. There is no color insert in GFL 6, and you will receive, it's 2 packages. You will receive a tube so that we don't fold the poster, and you will receive a book box. So yes, both of those will come. We have plenty of extras
And that
in case they don't show up
that
together.
poster is being done by Scott E. Pond Designs. I don't know if Scott's still in the room. He hung out. He's been very busy. He's been working on the cover for GFL Book 6. It's sick. It's going to be awesome. So the hardcover cover. You guys have already seen the cover by Scott Pond and Greg Polonis for the paperback, the audiobook, the ebook, but we have not shown you anything of the hardcover cover yet. You're going to have to wait for that. Also, real quick, I know we're late in the hardcover, but if you haven't pre-ordered your copy of GFL Book 6, The Gangster, go to scottsigler.com/thegangster, one word. Pre-order it now, because when they're sold out, you never get them back again. You can't get the rookie new hardcover. You can't get
from us.
From
you
us.
You can't get it new. You're right.
You can't get it new. You can't get the All Pro or the MVP new. They are out of print forever. Get your copy. All right, what do we got, baby?
It looks like we missed one junkie pick, which was, if you want to go back,
Yeah, I'll go
only
back.
because Trevor Haney mentioned it this week on Facebook. So if you want to go to the next one, so Trevor this week in Sigler Junkies posted a picture of Scott doing, this is an event called Bring Your Own Big Wheel.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I don't know what's happening during COVID. I imagine it's not happening.
It's San Francisco. They don't give a shit. They're going to do it. $1. I got $1 in credit. I got $1 in credit.
And that might not be true. I mean, this
Probably
is
not.
So in normal times, Bring Your Own Big Wheel happens on Potrero Hill. Potrero, is that how you say it? Potrero?
That's correct.
Okay, Potrero Hill every year.
I think,
and
yeah.
you bring a big wheel. It has to be
write this down. Let's play that video next week. It's incredible.
You have a video?
Joe Carlson did a video of the whole
great.
thing.
This is Joe Carlson's
That's
right there
Joe,
in the middle. Yeah.
Joe in the middle. And as you can see, that's Joe's wife on the left.
Yep.
I don't remember
Annette.
who the lady was on the right, but as you can see, Joe.
She's got a camera.
This is pre-zoom cameras. So Joe duct taped a camera to her helmet.
Pre-GoPro.
Pre-GoPro. What'd I say?
Zoom.
Oh, pre-GoPro. So he duct taped. He duct taped cameras everywhere. He re-engineered big wheels because he knew that they wouldn't be able to handle the torque of this road. So he had like metal framework restructuring and all the big wheels. I'll tell you all about it on Wednesday. Next Wednesday. It was one of the most fun things I have ever done. And ladies and gentlemen, I've done a lot of fun things. I sit booze out of an alien. I have done fun things.
Absolute injuries too, which we'll talk about next week. But I wanted to show this because the two folks in the back row in this photo are junkies, the Joe Anderson and his wife Annette. They're lovely, lovely folks. And you have met Joe at Siglerfest if you come to several Siglerfest.
Yes.
And this was right around the time that you and I first met, or first started work together, I guess. And I was like, I feel like maybe going downhill on Potrero Hill in a big wheel. That's a bad idea. And you're like, no. He's reinforced it. And I'm like, it's still a big wheel. And that's a very big hill.
There were injuries. There were many problems.
Many injuries.
We're going to show you all of that next week. Trust me, tune in. You'll love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I will also say that some of this filming was done by your friend Adrian Picardi. That's where you guys met.
I met Adrian Picardi. This thing.
Joe and Adrian worked together on this. He's just not in this photo, but you'll see him in the rest of the photos.
Maybe we can have Adrian on next week. Wouldn't that be if he did?
It would be great. Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be so great. All right.
So
I gotta write this down. Write that down.
I knew that we were missing one thing. So let's see. There's
Back to main. Oh no, we got questions. Boom.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that we're not missing any questions in the chat room, which I don't think we are. This is your weekly reminder that if you would like, we would love to have you send any photos, anything that you're celebrating, any pet photos, we've recently focused on accomplishments for junkies kids or junkies themselves or whatever. If you have anything you'd like to celebrate with the rest of us, please email that to info@emptysat. We will do that. I would love photos of your dogs. I would love photos of your perfect pineapple upside down cake. I would love all that jazz, you guys. I mean, what else are we doing? We're not actually interacting with anybody any other way. So I want to see your bagels. I want to see your perfect omelet. I want to see all that stuff.
Yep.
Email it to info@emptysat. That's the best way that we can stay connected.
Yeah, Sandra mentions that for her in Australia, the shipping costs more than the book.
Yeah, for sure.
That is, unfortunately, that's something that's completely out of our control. We have not found any way to ship stuff internationally that is cost effective at all.
And I've been making the same promise since 2010. If you are in a country where you can figure out a better way for me to ship an individual book that weighs 2 to 3 pounds for less than I am mailing it, I will give you shipping for the rest of the GFL for free.
Yep.
And I will apply that discount to every one of your country, your junkies in your country. It's a huge part of my job.
Do you see what Ed Keith says? You read that real quick. Also, we've even looked into getting a privateer, like an old school privateer, Possum Rob. There's this privateer named Possum Rob that was going to set sail on the 7 seas to bring his booty to all of you, so we wouldn't have to charge you shipping. Is that right? Is next week National Cold Cuts Day?
I mean, I haven't looked, Ed, but I'll trust your judgment.
Man,
also,
I
I
love
think it
cold
was
cuts.
Ollie Kirby. I'm not sure. Forgive me if it wasn't Ollie and it was somebody else. Just let me know. In this chat tonight said, hey, are we celebrating Sweet 16 on March 24th? Which is a Wednesday.
That's my Sweet 16 of podcasting?
It is. And I think we'll probably do that for sure.
Yes,
Great
we
idea.
will. Yes, we will. We're going to do it, hopefully, if we have time, we'll do it MTV style. Because it's my...
Like your cribs?
Yeah, it's my... What was that show where all the rich people had the birthdays and stuff? The six...
My super special sweet... My super something Sweet 16?
My super spoiled Sweet 16. We're going to have a good time. It'll be great. All right,
Stephen
baby.
King says, are you a small town pizza pirate?
I'm not Possum Rob. Possum Rob is a completely different guy. Possum Rob is a completely different guy. Maybe I think it's time to tap us out of the sucker.
It probably is. So you guys, it is always lovely to see you guys on Wednesdays. We will be back next
Hump Day!
Wednesday. I got to figure out what to, which is, okay. So next week, all week is Read Across America Week.
Yeah.
So if you have pictures of you reading any book, but especially a Sigler book, send that to us. Let us celebrate you. For anything, like I just got through saying, anything you want to share on this cast, any problems you have with any of the stuff that Empty Set does, email info@emptyset, and I will get you taken care of, I promise. Sometimes it takes me a few days. Richard, I'm actually forming your email from 2 months ago right now. Well, not right now, but this week. So trust me, I will get it done, and I'll work until it's actually right. So until then, we want you to send in content ideas for Sigler in Place. We want you to send in nonprofit sponsor ideas. Like I said last week, we're going to start to focus on smaller community-based things. So I think Joshua, your recommendation is next week. We're going to alternate global versus local versus global versus local. So especially if you're not in the U.S., because I can find those on my own, and you want to focus on a local charity, please do that. Email info@emptyset. We can maybe boost the signal a little bit. And other than that, we will be back on a week from today.
Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. We'll be celebrating, of course, Read Across America Day. And hopefully, cross my fingers, International Cold Cuts Day is an actual thing.
It is. He said, it's on his national calendar.
It's all about them cold cuts, son. We're gonna do some roll-ups. I'm gonna eat them on camera. The best part is cold cuts are soft. I can chew them. They won't crunch at all. It won't be an issue.
But until then, as you guys know, we're just about a year into this, you guys. And the one way to get out before another year goes by is for you guys to stay safe.
To stay smart.
And please, 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 please stay science.
And for the love of science, beware of the variants. It's not over yet. Stay informed. Let's go back to the variants. Actually, is a pretty good horror novel.
Okay.
New by Scott Sigler, coming out in August 2nd, 2024. The Variants. I'm still going to write Rainbow Bridge first. So we have a new thing. We're trying to say goodbye. Sometimes it just shuts off on us. I think they changed the software. So we're going to do it 2 ways. Ready, baby? Do the kiss off into the sky?
Okay.
See you next week.